Hey, out there from the Badger Rock Kitchen, here we are for another one of our virtual cooking workshops. And today we are cooking with potatoes. We're getting potatoes in the ground this week. If you missed the workshop on planting potatoes with Forrest on Sunday, you can check out our Facebook page. It's still posted there as a video. But you know those potatoes that you leave in your drawer in your kitchen by accident and they start to do this on you? Those are perfect for planting. So check out that video for the details on how to get these in the ground. With our middle school classes this week, we're planting potatoes and we're cooking with potatoes to connect the garden and the kitchen together. So we're going to be making a potato hash today, and it is really simple, really delicious. And I will tell you, we did not have leftovers, and we had a line out the door for those potatoes at the end of the day today. So you want to start just by dicing up your potatoes, really however small you want them is how big you should cut them. Although I will say the smaller you cut the potatoes, the quicker they cook. So if you're in a hurry, make them nice and small. I'm just going to cut them about this size, just a little, maybe ½ inch cubes. And you can pan fry them if you cut them small enough, but we like to boil them in a little bit of water just to get them a little pre-cooked before sauteing them with the rest of the ingredients. Sometimes they don't get cooked all the way through and the other stuff is cooked a little bit too much, so this is just a way to even out those cooking times. Potatoes always take the longest of all the ingredients in hash. So we're just going to dice up these potatoes. This recipe, we can post it in the comments at the end of the video. Although you know how we roll in the Badger Rock Kitchen, we do not always stick to our strict measurements. But if you are new to cooking this at home and you want to, we will have that up for you in those comments at the end of the video. I like to leave the skins on just because the skins are where a lot of the nutrients are in the potatoes. And so I like to keep them on there just for that extra little nutrient boost. And it adds a little bit of texture too. So we're just going to pop these in a pan, a saute pan with some water, and bring them up to a simmer and pop a top on it is what I would normally do just to give them a little steaming. We're not going to worry about the top right now. We're just going to let them come up to a simmer and just let them simmer for, about 5 minutes or so until they're just a little bit more tender than they would be if they were straight up raw. And then we can add in the other stuff. So while those are simmering, I'm going to switch gears a little bit and we are going to start in on what we are making as a beverage this week with our potato hash champurrado, which is like a Mexican style hot chocolate. So the way to do that, what makes champurrado unique is that you cook it with masa, which is a nixtamalized cornmeal, and this is to thicken it up, so it makes like a kind of a thick chocolate. And we're going to start with just 2 cups of water in a saucepan. Get that going over here. And spring is coming, so we might be getting to the end of hot beverage season, but I feel like we are just squeaking it in while we still have a little bit of that cool spring weather going. So I just put 2 cups in here, and then I am going to add, you can either use something like panela, which is like a Mexican style sugar. It's a evaporated cane sugar. Or if you don't have that, you can just use regular sugar. And really you just want to use about 1 of these little hockey pucks worth of it. And I'm going to pop that in the water. And then I'm going to add some cinnamon in here too. You can use a cinnamon stick. They're a little more expensive. So if we have ground cinnamon, we'll just stick with that. This gives it a nice little cinnamon chocolate flavor. So get these guys in the pan together. And we are going to bring these things to a simmer on the stovetop next to our potatoes. And if you want to chop that sugar up a little bit to get it dissolving a little quicker, you can. Otherwise, you can just let it do its thing, but you need to remember to stir it so you don't end up burning your sugar on the bottom of your pan by accident. All right, so once we get that up to a boil, we are going to add in the part with the masa. So I'm going to grab 2 more cups of water And a shout out to Shadeira Kilpoy Flores, who came in and worked with our students to make this recipe more than once. I don't know how many times, maybe 2, maybe 3. So this is Shady's recipe, Shadeira's recipe for champurrado. And we're just going to get this 2 cups of water. And what we are going to do is get the masa, which is about 1/3 a cup of masa. And this is the tricky part, because you don't want lumpy champurrado if you can help it. So if you have an electric mixer, even better. As you add this masa into the water, you're going to be whisking it to try to get it to be as unlumpy as possible. I guess there's a word for unlumpy. We could call it smooth. Or you could call it unlumpy. So we're just going to whisk this. I've already failed, y'all. I got lumps on the side. Okay. And if you don't have an electric whisk, it's okay. You can do it by hand.
Get a little workout.
Yeah. Oh, Mari verbatim my camera woman in the back here. Everybody say hey to Mari.
Hey, yo.
All right. So we're getting this just whisked up until it's nice and smooth. Okay. And then the most important part is the cocoa. That's what makes it chocolate. So we can put this, you can put this in with the sugar in the water, or you can put it in with the masa in the water. As long as it gets in there and you get it mixed in there, you can't go wrong. Okay. I'm just
looking over here.
It's coming along. I'm just going to give it a little stir. Remember I said to stir it often so that sugar doesn't burn on the bottom. Well, here we go.
Beautiful. Potatoes looking good.
Yeah.
And tender.
Starting to get a little soft. Yep, get this all mixed up. And that sugar is definitely starting to dissolve already, so it doesn't take long. And I will tell you one thing about champurrado is, it is, I don't know why, maybe it's the masa, but it is nuclear hot when you make masa. So just be careful, be ready to really pace yourself when you're going to sip it. Don't plan to just pick it up and take a big chug, because you will burn your mouth for sure. It's looking good. Okay, I'm going to turn these potatoes down a little bit. And I'm going to turn this champurrado down a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to add 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. This is unsweetened. We already added in some sugar, so you don't need to add sweetened cocoa powder. Get that mixed in there, dissolve too.
And I will say taste test, because if you like your drinks a little sweeter, you might need a little bit more sugar. With our class today, I did add a little bit extra, just knowing that they were going to be mad at me if it wasn't sweet enough. So test it before you serve it up, just to make sure it's to your liking.
Yes, good tip, Maury. Yeah, so traditionally this is not like a super sweet cocoa. But you can make it that way if you want.
We know our audience.
Right. And we don't make sweet things that often. So, you know, when we do, we like to follow the requests. And then you're just going to cook it, whisking constantly until it thickens up. And once it is thickened up to your liking, that's thickening up because the masa, that cornmeal in there, is cooking. And so you end up with kind of a thick cornmeal hot chocolate masa. Okay, we're just going to let that warm up a little bit, and I'm going to switch us back to our hash. Right. So, well, our potatoes are probably almost soft enough to take out of the water, and while they are doing their thing, I'm going to get the rest of the ingredients ready. You can make this as simple or as complicated as you want. Really, a hash, you could throw in whatever you have on hand. But we are using some onion, some red bell pepper, and a little bit of parsley and Parmesan cheese for garnish. It's a very simple recipe, but it's a really delicious one. And you know, the more colors you have in a recipe, the more nutrients in there. So get a little rainbow in there with that red pepper. You can also do a little medley of peppers if you want, green, yellow, red. Or you can wait till you have your own peppers in your own garden so that you can just pick them out of your garden and not have to, you know, the colorful bell peppers are a little more expensive in the store, so that's something to consider. You don't have to use the colorful ones. But if you grow them in your garden, then you don't have to even buy them from the store. All right. These look pretty good. So I'm just going to grab a strainer real quick.
Yep, I forgot about the
No
strainer.
worries.
I'll whisk the champurrado while we're waiting. Because it does get pretty thick quick.
Yes, you got to keep it rolling. Don't abandon your champurrado. Okay. Yeah, those are about perfect. So they don't have to be done, but if they're a little on the more tender side than raw, you should be in good shape. And then I'm going to take that same saucepan and I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil in the bottom. If you were using the same saucepan that you boiled your potatoes in, be ready for a little bit of spluttering as that water cooks off. It's okay. And then I'm going to just put this onions in here. Get that going. And throw a little bit of garlic in there. We're going to put about 4 cloves of garlic. And I did 1 onion. And we're doing about 3 potatoes, just for an idea of how much you might want to make. And you can scale it up or down depending on how many people you're feeding. Okay. For the garlic, I just like to mash it with the sideways knife to get that peel off. And then you can pop it through a garlic press, or you can chop it. You can also get that jarred garlic that's already diced, if you like that. Just getting that a little bit chopped. And I'm going to throw that in with the onions. Garlic cooks a little faster than the onions, so just keep an eye on it so you don't burn your garlic. Ooh, that champurrado looks like it's about ready.
I will stir it because I think I forgot a spoon for the...
Yes, I'll grab it.
See, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but this stuff is getting thick, which is what we want. But it'll be about ready to turn off. And it's also, yeah, good, like Sarah mentioned earlier, to give it a stir. It gets stuck a little bit to the bottom, but as you stir, it kind of loosens it up.
And you can see it kind of bubbling up from the sides. That's your sign that it's really starting to do its thing. Yeah. Okay. All right. And these onions are cooking away. You can wait until they're translucent before you throw in your potatoes. And I'm going to throw them in because they aren't totally translucent, but it's not going to take long. And the potatoes are the thing that takes the longest in this recipe. Just going to get that. Get those in there. And then you can pop your bell pepper in. If you want to start some seeds, pop these little seeds off your bell pepper. Stick them in some soil. Pop them in a sunny window. And you can grow yourself some peppers this summer. Start them inside though. It's not quite time for planting outside yet, although it is tempting. Cool season crops are going to be ready to go in soon. but wait on those warm season crops like peppers and tomatoes until the weather warms up and it does not look like there's going to be any more freezing nights. In Madison, that's around May 10th. But cool season crops, plants that you eat the leaves or the roots of, like potatoes, greens, spinach, carrots, those are crops that you can get in a little bit earlier before that last frost date. So, if you are interested in learning more about cool season planting, you have two options to join us this weekend. We have an in-person community workshop on Saturday that is going to be cool season planting. Check out our Facebook page and click on the Eventbrite to sign up for that workshop if you want to go. It's going to be a demonstration of how to plant both seeds and starts, cool season crops in the garden, and you get to take some seed packets home with you if you want to do some cool season planting.
I'm going to turn this one off.
Good idea. Don't ignore your champurrado. Don't do what I just did, y'all. But the cool season planting workshop in person will be Saturday. And if you can't make it in person, check out the virtual version, which will be posted at our regular virtual workshop time at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Right. Also, don't ignore your potato hash. You don't want to burn that garlic to the bottom of your pan. So I got those all going, and I'm going to throw in some bell peppers. They don't take long. The bell peppers I put in last. And if it's really sticking to the bottom of your pan, you can add a little bit more olive oil, or you can even add a little butter for a little bit of that buttery flavor goodness. And then for seasonings, smoked paprika is a really good one, or sweet paprika. If you don't want that smoky flavor in your hash, you can just get regular paprika, but we're going to put some smoked paprika in here, probably about like a half a teaspoon-ish. I'm just going to do like I do and eyeball it for this one. Adds a little bit of a smoky flavor to it. If you want to put some cumin, that's another really good one. You can put a little salt. You can put a little black pepper. Season it up a little bit. You can really season this hash with whatever you like. If you like Cajun seasoning, go for it. You know, it's really up to your own flavor palette how you season. Ooh, hello. That's way too much. Don't put too much salt. You can always add more, but you can't take it out. So I just put a little smoked paprika, a little cumin, a little salt, a little black pepper. And that is your hash. You just want to cook it until it's as done as you like it. You know, some people like to cook it till the edges of the potatoes are a little brown. That's my favorite. But if you feel good having it without them browned, that works too. It'll just be a little softer. All right. And then Miss Murray already grated the Parmesan cheese for us, so we don't even have to do that. Amazing. Get yourself a sous chef, y'all.
Well, I can't even take the credit. One of the students did it during class today.
Even better, even better.
Who's below a sous? I don't even know the order.
That's called the bonus sous. I don't know. But our students, oh my gosh, they are so fast at cooking these days. At this point in the year, they can just knock out 3 recipes sometimes in an hour. It's like we have to come up with more things to cook each class because they are just going for it. They have been in this kitchen and they know their way around. All right. And you just want to watch your hash because it will start to burn to the bottom of the pan if you're not careful. And at that point, you can either call it done or you can add a little more oil and butter and just kind of scrape. I love those kind of fried scrapings on the bottom of a hash. Ooh, don't throw those away. Scrape them off with a little scraper, mix them in, put them on a spoon, and go hide in the back and eat it all by yourself and don't share it. That's what I like to do. So I'm going to grab a plate and we'll plate this up.
Maybe a mug too for the champurrado?
Yes.
I'm going to pull this off the heat. Give it a stir. I feel like the longer it sits, too, the thicker it gets.
This is funny.
What?
So we all have our mugs in another part of the kitchen.
Oh my
I just found
gosh.
this.
That's fun.
I didn't even know we had that. So find the cutest mug you can. Scoop yourself a little scoop. You can see when I pour it how it's thick.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely like a thick chocolate. Ooh, and it smells so good. That cinnamon chocolate combo in Champurrado, it is like nothing else. So, oh man, I cannot wait to drink this. So there's your Champurrado. And then we're going to plate up some of the hash. So this is a little bit of a spin on breakfast for dinner. Or you could have it for breakfast. Breakfast for breakfast. But it's delicious. And I would just put my little bowl of hash, do a little sprinkle of Parmesan cheese on top. If you don't eat dairy, you can just straight up skip the cheese and it will still be delicious. Put a little bit of parsley. And there it is. I need my sous chef to make that look professional, but
look at that go.
Yes. So there you have it. A really fast meal with very few ingredients, super inexpensive to make, delicious, and celebrating the return of potato season. Get those potatoes in the ground. You can plant them in the ground or in a pot. So check out that video for more on how to do that if you want to grow your own potatoes. Thanks, everybody. I hope you try it at home. If you do, let us know how you liked it in the comments. Or if you have other spins on this recipe that you want to share, pop them in there. We'd love to hear it. And we will see you all next time.